Me too.
Oh, I heard press record already.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Hello. Hello, y'all. Welcome back to the Growing Samoan podcast. Let me say some of my greetings here. I got written down. Malolele, aloha, yarana bura, abula, kiarola. I gotta figure out some new ones.
Alright, you got any?
Do you know any? No?
I can go research.
Research. Google something.
For right now?
Pacific Polynesian hellos. Google. See what she's gonna Google right now, and we're gonna find out a new word for hello in another Polynesian language. Because this show is a Growing Samoan podcast. Welcome back, y'all, to the Growing Samoan podcast, Growing Samoan. We just want to say we are back at episode 6. I think this is episode 6. I think. And yes, we have a very, very important episode today. And before we start, I'm gonna have these two talk a little bit before we start because I gotta use the bathroom. I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
Wow.
Did we find any other hellos?
I think Uncle said them all. Did he get it from here?
I'm not sure.
I think he went right in order.
So while we're on a little pause here, that was unexpected. Let's see. Oh, okay, so basically, I think we got the Yorana, which is hello in Tahitian. So, well, like my husband was saying, we have a very special podcast today, and oh goody, he's back.
Yeah,
It's not my forte.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I have to go pee.
It's okay.
CMI, honey. CMI.
This is the Growing Samoan podcast. If we gotta go pee, we gotta go pee.
That's okay.
Just say I gotta go.
Welcome to our world. Welcome to the Growing Samoan podcast world. People that are listening, to my right is my lovely co-host, my wife Tala, back in action. And our guest for today is a beautiful, young, intelligent, wonderful, smart, talented young woman that goes by the name of
Selena.
Selena. Actually, Selena is your favorite what, singer? Song? And she goes by the name of your name. Whatever you want. You want to say your full name, any name? It's up to you.
Anna.
Anna. Hello, Anna, everybody. Hello, Anna.
Yay.
Anna. Anna's in the house, and the reason why we got Anna in the house today, y'all, is because we got some major important information for everybody out there wanting to learn more about how to make more moolah to hula in the form of education. And in this form, we're talking about education after high school. Education that will not cost you anything. Education that won't put you into debt. Education that will actually pay you. And this education is not found whatever online or outside of this country. This is here in the U.S., people. If you're in the United States of America, we have a guest here that's going to give us some information. It's going to give you some information about the schooling that she had went through, and you're going to graduate, right?
She is
completing, and you're going to graduate
This month. We finished the program and we have to wait till next month.
next month.
September 28th.
September 20th, and she will be finishing her program and graduating September 28th. And the name of that program is called
Year Up.
Year Up. Everybody, we're going to talk a lot about Year Up. That's the program that Anna had been through, and she's going to explain to us a lot about it. And before we get into that, we of course are going to give a big shout out to all of our listeners out there. once again, I'd like to start the podcast off now by saying hello to the listeners. We're on the YouTube channel. We're on YouTube. We're also on every major podcast channel. And in order for us to grow, the channel to grow, once again, if you can, please, after this podcast, go to the Apple, Apple podcast rate, review, leave a comment on YouTube page. Go to Apple and rate, subscribe, and the more people that we can have rate and review and give us a rating, the bigger the awareness will go for Polynesians of all cultures out there and people of all walks of life, whoever you are. If you just need some help in financial education or anything that we can talk about that can help you out through your day, go and blow it up. Give us some ratings, subscribe, and that way people can find us on Apple podcasts and podcasts all over, on Stitcher, on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Once again, we have audio and we have video on our YouTube channel, which is at Growing Samoan. That way you can see Tala, me, and our guest Anna, and then we can do the sizzle. So with that being said, I think we're going to start, and I think we're just going to dig into it. Anna is our guest today, and we're so happy for you to be a guest on our show. And not only that, she is also a family member of ours. She's our niece. We love you, niece. It's a beautiful niece right here.
I'm the lucky one.
And it's just the beautiful thing about it is they're family. This is what this show is about. This is what our podcast is about. It's about growing Samoan. Not only is it about me and Tala and our journey and our kids and the way we're trying to find financial independence, but everybody involved in our life. Like Anna, my beautiful niece, who has done something special in the form of education, and she's just going to tell you guys a lot about it. And before we get into that, I just want to talk to you guys about what I learned through my schooling, and also Tala can talk about her schooling, and then we can talk about Europe and how important Europe is for a lot of listeners right now, because there's a lot of listeners that are graduating high school or have graduated and are looking for some sort of schooling, but the first thing that they come up with is, well, I don't know about the finances and where to sign up, the paperwork, where do I go, and financial aid.
Student loans, and there's a lot of barriers.
Dad, help me with the paperwork. What do I do? And what's the first thing, as a parent, we were like, me and Tala would say is we ain't got no money for that.
No.
We ain't got no, you know how expensive these student loans are asking you? I know by firsthand. If you go to a regular college or community college, you're still going to have to take out some kind of loan.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of weird stuff is that? You got to take out some kind of loan for you to get educated, because they're saying that, oh yeah, this is the way you're going to get a good paying job and become so successful, and brainwash. They're just brainwashing you. That's the old school traditional way of schooling. And now it's worse. It's horrible.
Yeah,
Student loan debt.
the only way you'll get lucky is if you get full ride scholarships, grants, and that's a lot of work too. So
yeah, that's why I big ups to all of the athletic athletes. What do you call those? The athletic athlete? They call them like a school athlete. I don't know. There's a name for it. I just can't think of it.
what?
So all the polys, all the kids playing basketball, football, they get a scholarship, and then they go to school and they get a free ride. Some of them get a free ride. Most of the time, it's not really a free ride, but in our Samoan community, Polynesian community, the majority of the kids the boys, they play football, high school. That's the ticket. That's what they call the ticket. Oh, that's my ticket out of here to get my family out the struggles, to buy my mom a house, to do all this, whatever sport it may be. And that's a way for people to get into college, but they don't tell you the full aspect of it, that you still have to pay some of the college fees. I don't know the numbers or whatever, but anyways, the bottom line is our Samoan community is just set in that, the majority of them. And big props and big shout outs to the ones who have made it and are going through it, because they're getting free rides. That's another way of getting free rides. Of going to school, right? 4 years, free ride scholarship, sports, athletics. But there is another way, people. Another way that the majority of all of us can all relate to. And we have somebody here who can explain and who's been through it and talk about it right now. So Anna, now that you're here, tell us more about this program. Oh, what is this program? What is this program? If I was like your old uncle, it's like, what is this? You go to school? Oh, what is this thing? Well, like, what we say, like, if to our listeners out there, go ahead and just explain to them. Remember, you told me you were at the booth. You guys had booths too, and the booths you were trying to talk to the Samoan kids.
Maybe we should start off about who and how we learned about this program.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about we start from there? So how did you learn about Europe?
So, honestly, all the props goes to my older brother, LJ, because he is an alumni and he is now very, very successful and he's set for life. And he's only 23.
Yeah.
And
he's also my nephew.
yeah.
What's up, LJ? Shout out to
There's
LJ.
no Gus.
Shout out to LJ.
We're all
We're
related.
gonna get him on the podcast, but
Oh,
he's
yeah.
doing big things right now.
He's
chilling with.
Yeah.
He's
He's
chilling
playing with his cousins
right.
on Microsoft.
Online.
Yeah. Big shout out to the big broski.
Yeah.
Honest big broski.
Yeah. I mean, he actually heard Europe from a friend, and he was at Safeway at the time. And then he was, doing like the cards and courtesy clerk. And one day, his friend from high school came, and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then he's like, "I'm here at Safeway, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know." And she said, "Why don't you come to Europe?" And that's basically how it started. Was she said, "Don't you want to do something better than just staying here at a 9 to 5 and paycheck to paycheck?" And LJ, he was like, "I don't know. That sounds kind of sketchy." And LJ, he just went in and he did it. And now that he did it, and he graduated. Now I did it, and I did it at the same time with our other brother, DJ. He's supposed to be here too, but
It's okay. DJ's busy too.
he's with LJ. So
By the way, DJ is our other nephew.
yeah.
But yeah, so LJ went through the program, and the program, people, is 1 year.
So the whole point of Europe is, Europe enables young adults to move from minimum wage to meaningful careers in just 1 year. And believe it or not, that's literally what Europe is. And there's no cons about it.
No taxes, no fine print.
Yeah.
That's the name. Europe.
Europe.
It means in 1 year,
Europe.
this program, this program is gonna teach you, train you, and get you into a high-paying career. If you have the willpower, and the Samoan work hustle, or Polynesian, or just hard work ethics to get through your schooling, just like LJ did, because he's an alumni, and now he's doing big things in his career, and now you, right?
And that's it's like taking a 4-year education,
Mhm.
2 to 4 year education,
But
and you're
yeah, okay.
cramming it into a year. Well, 6 months, because isn't it 6 months of hardcore schooling, and then the other half is internships. So it's kind of nice that you get the hands-on stuff, right?
And the best thing about it is, how much does it cost for you to go to Europe? Anna, tell them, ladies and gents, and the young Samoan, Polynesian, and people out there, how much does it
How
cost?
much does it go
man.
The
to?
big question: how much does it cost?
It's free.
Free.
It's free.
Free.
It's frugal, fabulous, y'all. That's what we're trying to teach
Yes.
here.
And they also, if I remember correctly,
Wait. How much does it cost again?
It's free.
Oh,
Right.
I like it. Free.
he sounds like a real uncle. I love it.
I know.
I like free.
Right.
That's
There
my
goes,
dude.
Yeah, Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Krabs. That's my guy right there.
Yeah, and then on top of not only a program that's free,
Yeah.
they also pay you a stipend of, well, it's different, right? Like I know that it changes every year.
Yeah, every year it changes, but the stipend depends on what benefits you get. Like
And for people who don't know what stipend is, so basically not only is it free, they pay you. they give you pocket money.
Stipend?
Stipend.
What's that? How do you spell that?
STIPEND.
Stipend. I never heard that before. I heard you guys say it, but I didn't.
basically it means paycheck.
Yeah, paycheck.
So
they're just giving you some money.
So not only is Europe
free.
I laid the camera free, but they also pay you.
Yes.
It's kind of. Now, did your high school teach you that? No. High school, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, mommies and daddies out there that are trying to figure out what to do with your children. High schools don't teach you that. They don't teach us that. We're teaching them that. We're outside of the box. We're doing things that are not traditional. Things that can help you out in your life. Help us out in our lives. Free college. It's a college, right? Basically, it's not. What is it called?
Okay. It's a program that is sponsored by. Who sponsors this? Or who is this program originated from? Who started this program? Is it an Amazon program?
No.
So it's just. But it's Seattle. Is it Seattle?
Yeah.
Did it originate here in Washington, or?
That's a good question.
I don't think so.
No.
So
it is a program, but here it's sponsored by a lot of.
I got the website up right here.
Europe is.
Okay, go to history.
I'm at the About Us. Go to history.
Yeah.
So you go to history. And we're on the website right now. If you want to go to the website, it's at yearup, yearup.org. So this is what we're on right now. So history, blah, blah, blah. 2000.
Okay, so it just started. It's actually a very new program. 2000.
Okay, so if you go to the website, it'll tell you, if you go to history, year 2000, Europe is founded in Boston, Massachusetts. Boston.
So it's founded on the East Coast.
East Coast. And then it says Europe incorporates as a 501(c) in October. I don't know what that means, but all of this in 2001, blah, 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 blah. All the history is there, though. And basically, if you want to know about the history, go to the yearup.org and history and about them. But they're pretty much what I like to do is tell you guys about, if you go to the Europe website, who can apply. This is the main focus that caught my attention when LJ went into it and became a graduate and landed a big time successful career and start sharing the word like with Anna and everybody after him. Now we have like a lot of Sibs that are following in the footsteps. It took one person, a Samoan man, young man, to take that leap from a friend that took it already, a high school friend, while he was working at Safeway, right? LJ's working at Safeway.
Mm-hmm.
Friend comes along like, hey man, what's up, man? What you doing? Yeah, hey, I'm in this program. I'm doing good now. Oh yeah, tell me more about it. LJ does it, and he becomes successful, and now he shares it with his siblings and other cousins, relatives. And the last time when me and Auntie we counted down the people, and it was like 5. And so there's like 5 after LJ that are following the steps. Why? Because first of all, in my book, it's free. We don't come from mountains and mountains of wealth in our families. We are Pacific Islanders that came here. Our parents were lost in finances. We're all learning. This Europe program is a big leap that can help out many families right now. So Europe helps out people because number 1, it's free. Number 2, you get paid for it. And number 3, it's only a year total. So a year total. And then boom, you have pretty much everything you could get out of a 4-year college or more.
You earn credits from Europe.
Oh, is that right?
College credits.
Yeah.
It depends on like which class you end up getting into.
Mm-hmm.
Like my class, we didn't get as much benefits as the next class after me,
Mm-hmm.
which our other brothers in too.
Yeah. What do these college credits go for? Go towards to?
So if you probably want to transfer to university. So
Yeah.
if those that want a traditional
Mm-hmm.
education
It's like a stepping stone for them to get in.
to a higher education. Yeah.
Oh, so not only is it a way to help, like the lower social class kids to get into education, but it can also advance them if they want to advance to a more higher learning, right? That's awesome. I love that. I didn't know that. That's why we have you here, so we can pick your brain away and dig into it. Yeah. What? Quiet.
We're letting him.
Oh, you're waiting for me?
No, we're gonna just let him roll.
Oh, okay.
No, we're just letting you roll with it.
All right, let me roll then. I can roll all day.
Yeah, and you know that.
Okay, so here, I'm on the website right now. Right now it says, if you go to Europe website, and for all you parents out there, go to Europe.org. This will give you all the information you need. And it goes to, there's a part in here when you go under students and you go to who can apply. I'm going to read the things out right here, and Anna's going to add on to it because she is a student and is about to graduate. Hey, you know what? Not only are you about to graduate, we also have your cousin down in California that also graduated. So big shout outs to her and the family. We showed them love. They're on the Facebook page. You know, her dad was posting, and I said, oh, you know what? Love you. Sky's the limit. Why? Because we've seen it in LJ up here. We're in the Pacific Northwest, but we also have family in California who have the children that went through the program, graduated. I'm excited for them. That's why this is for you guys out there. Anybody who's listening. Your children can go to Europe for a year. It won't cost them anything, and they'll pay them. What's more better than that? Here we go. You can apply to be a Europe student if you are, and I'm just reading this right here. Wait, you want to read that, baby? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, you can read it.
It's too far. Go ahead. You're right there.
Oh,
We're both blind.
Yeah, I'm like,
we're all blind.
Oh yeah, we're all blind.
Okay, so this is on the website. You can apply to Europe, be a student if you are 18 through 24 years old. So if you're 18 through 24, you have the opportunity to take this Europe and just boost your salary, your income, your education, everything to help out your family, whoever you need to help out. If you're a 18 to 24 year old listening to this and you're trying to figure out what to do, this might be it. This might be the one for you. Also, it says you have to be a high school graduate or GED recipient. So not only, don't, could you be a high school graduate, if you got your GED, hey, there you go. That's all you need, GED. You know, you got homies locked up, got GEDs. So you can join here. But I'm just saying, I don't know about that stipulation, but if you got a GED, you're good. And if you come from a low to moderate income, if you have a low or moderate income, that's what you're really, why it's so special to me. It's because this program is for us, the people that are searching, that haven't been raised in wealth, that haven't had, the things passed down to them, college funds and all that. This is for low to moderate income families. And that's what, we're trying to preach on here on this podcast to help people, because that's where we came from. We started from the bottom, we were moving up, we're moving up. Also, you have to be a U.S. citizen, permanent resident, or have an employment authorization card. I don't know what that means.
You have to be here legally.
Is that pretty much what it means?
Yeah, like if you have a visa that allows you to come here for employment.
Yeah.
For employment, yeah.
Oh yeah, and all it takes is a year. Join the program for a year, boom, you can land a job.
Oh yeah, and you can always extend your visa, especially if it's educational.
Oh, that's what's up. It must be available 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, for the full year of the program. Well, that's easy,
Yeah, attendance is very, very strict.
Make it work, It's only a year. Sacrifice Monday through Friday for the year, and you will reap the rewards after that.
Good job. I remember.
Remember, Anna? Tell us a little bit of that, because I remember when you first started, thank God we had your brother LJ who'd been through it, and there was a lot of support for him. And then you said you wanted to try it, you wanted to do it, and tell us a little bit about that how there were times ups and downs, but you finally made it to next month you're going to graduate. Tell us a little bit about that.
Year up was, yes, it was a year. And the first 6 months of school, you're learning hard skills, you're learning classes. And there was 2 tracks. There's IT, and then there's software development and testing, which is now quality assurance. And I was in quality assurance track. And we learned about the software, we learned about coding, and then everyone there learns about Excel. You can get your Excel certification, you can get your CompTIA. There's a lot of certifications there that you can earn for free, because usually it's super expensive. But it all depends on how hard you work and how driven you are, and Europe offers so many opportunities that it's just it's pretty unbelievable. And for me, the first 6 months was very hard because
it was hard.
We were going through a lot in the first 2 weeks of school, and I wanted to quit already just because the workload there was assignments that were due different times, 11:59 p.m. Then you have your other classes that are due at 5:30 p.m. It was just a lot of time management, and on top of that, being at home, we have our family, we have our outside noise happening. I have a kid, I have a baby.
And you have a child,
And she's 5.
So
there was a lot of time that I, wasn't home because of school. And we were in Kent, and it was in Seattle, so that was quite a commute.
And that's part of that sacrifice.
It's a sacrifice. All these things that you're talking about, a sacrifice. It's a lot. It's a lot. Keep going. Tell us more.
Oh yeah, it was just very, very stressful. I had a lot of friends who didn't find it stressful because they were an only child. They were privileged. They had both parents. They had like their parents were older, and they had like they didn't have to worry about the rent. They didn't have to worry
Mhm.
about bills.
Yeah.
They just had to go to school. So
Yeah.
I was around that crowd most of the time.
And you were like, oh my gosh. You guys have no idea. Crying
Yeah.
over.
You got
Oh.
like
Yeah.
10 million kids jumping
Pretty
around.
much.
They don't know.
Yeah, I'm like mommy at home.
Our
So
our listeners know what
Yeah.
the struggles we
A
got going through.
Samoan
Oh, yeah.
household that's filled to
Mhm.
the brim.
Mhm.
And not only that,
Oh.
and it's not only Samoan. There's a lot of all races. If you're just in that, that's just that the poor class. It's a struggle. So when I say like the people that got handed wealth, down to them, it's not really a race thing. It's just a financial thing.
Mhm.
Because there's Palangis, Meolis that are just like us in our situation, Saimas, that are in our same situation. That means black, white, Chinese, Mexicans. And then there's also the same, races that are pretty much we call privilege that had things handed down to them, made it easier for them.
Mhm.
But like, Auntie was saying, that was the sacrifices from all those 11 months that led up to today, where we're at right now with you. And tell our listeners, how you feel now going through all those, hard times, just battling through it out.
well, when we first started, um, I had Uncle Henry and Auntie Raul to support me.
Yeah, we were all living together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they seen every day I came home, like,
Yeah.
they're like, every day they ask, how's school? And I'm like,
Yeah.
But-
There was times you wanted to give up.
oh yeah, like, I cried so many times.
There were times.
But I had them, I had my mom,
Mm-hmm.
and I had, everyone at the house to encourage me. And that's honestly how I got through it. And in Europe, they teach you about, like, what is your why? Like, when we first started, they're like, okay, before we do anything, we want everyone to write down on a little note card and write down why you're here. And for me, I was like, that's a good question. Like, is it the money or is it, the paychecks? And I was like, honestly, I'm here because I feel like we deserve better. We deserve to be here. And my why was my family. It was
Mm-hmm.
it was Elsa, my daughter. It was my mom. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure all of us kids are tired of seeing our parents struggle.
Yeah.
And we only have our mom now, so, like, I'm not trying to lose my mom. And she's a big reason why we wanted to do this, me and LJ. And because we want to retire her. Our mom is retired.
You hear that, Mama? If you're listening to the podcast,
This is your children's
the surprise
mind.
is over. They're trying to retire you.
Sorry.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Was it a surprise? I don't know.
It's okay.
Well,
Anyway, she's happy right now. She's listening. Like, woohoo!
I know, right?
Retirement.
Yeah, she was calling me earlier, and she's like, have fun with Uncle and Auntie.
Yeah. You see people out there, grown Samoan listeners. If you're 18 to 24, you can retire your mama and daddy if you get through
they'll
this
love you for
program.
life.
And if you're a parent, get your kids on it so they can retire you.
What are we waiting for? We got 2 18 to 24-year-olds
no.
in there.
We have children. We have children too, your cousins. And we have also talked to them about it. But that's life. Everybody has their own path. Everybody has their own, ways they're going to walk through God as told them, this your path, that's your path. This is a path that I truly believe in because I'm a financial guy. It just makes sense. It's free. I mean, come on now.
It's free.
You're going to go through 4 years. And no disrespect. No disrespect to all the people who have gotten their degrees and have went down that route. But a lot of them had to pay back money
Still to this
that
day.
came out of their pockets. Student loans. And a lot of them are in debt. Student loan debt.
Will kill you.
So it just makes sense to me that when I heard about this program, and LJ was the first one to accomplish it, and then told us all about it, and I was like, what? I said, what? And then I remember we had a talk, and I encouraged you. And at the time, you were working somewhere.
Jimmy John.
And let's tell the listeners where you used to work at.
At the best restaurant ever, Jimmy John's.
So you worked at Jimmy. And what's Jimmy John's? Is that?
It's a gourmet sandwich shop.
Oh, gourmet.
Gourmet.
Really gourmet.
Cold.
They sandwiches. He was making sandwiches.
All right, I'm sorry.
I don't know where else. I was like, he got free sandwiches from you every day.
Yeah, I did. A lot of times. We got a picture. Remember when we came get the dollar subs and we were in line?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
Want
right.
to put that picture in the show notes?
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put that picture at the show notes, and then you have some other pictures of where you're at now.
I have a slideshow.
So, oh yeah, we'll put that then.
Okay.
So this is the story of Anna. You were making gourmet sandwiches,
Yay!
subs at Jimmy John's. You had the apron, the name badge, and you hated it. You loved your workers, your coworkers.
Oh yeah.
But just the job alone, you're like, I don't want to do this. And how many years were you working there?
Almost 3.
3 years of cutting up sandwiches and dealing with people's
Slicing.
slicing
That's when I got
sandwiches.
these guys.
That's right.
I'm just kidding.
And,
They're gone now. So.
and now through Year Up,
Yeah.
you were able to land a career at a nice company. I don't know a whole lot about. I know the name of it, but what company do you work for? You work for them, right? You're employed now, and you got hired. You got hired at what's the name of your company?
It's a law firm. It's called Summit Law Group.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Go ahead. So, when did you get hired over there?
I got
Or where did
hired.
you start?
So at the end of my internship,
Mm-hmm.
we all were job searching, and we had to like find a job.
Mhm.
Because if you don't, then you have to go back to Europe,
Yeah.
and they're always like willing to help you.
Gotcha.
But I wanted a job as
Uh-huh.
soon as possible.
Because that's what they're supposed to do.
yeah, that's
Europe.
the point of Europe.
Yeah.
And one of my managers at Europe, she
Uh-huh.
found this job,
Uh-huh.
and she hooked me up with the manager at Summit Law Group, and she said, hey, I think this is good for you because of everything we talked about and how it's not really technical, and it's going to give you the experience to become a program manager in nonprofit.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I'll check it out. And then the first interview I had, they didn't even know about Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked how I heard about the job,
Yeah.
and then the interview went really good. And then there was a second interview, and this all happened the last 2 weeks of my internship. And then I got
Nice.
hired on my birthday.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
my first day was my birthday.
There it
so
is. It was meant to be then.
I guess.
No, that's special.
Yeah.
There's things in life where you think that it's people call it karma, people say it's the universe. We call it spiritual, where God's looking down and He's dropping blessings.
Yeah.
Sprinkle little blessings. Stuff like that. In our faith, that's God.
Mm.
And then you get everybody, or that could be, Papa, and everybody up there saying, here you go. That's on a special day,
It's gonna make me cry.
And cry all you want. We got tissues. But
There's no tissues over here.
but the
Sorry,
big
it's in the back.
the big story. Use your shirt. Just go ahead. But the big story is from Jimmy John's slicing, making sandwiches, gourmet sandwiches,
Mhm.
to working at a law firm. Yeah, you show me your office. She's got a corner office, downtown Seattle. A nice building, downtown Seattle. All that struggle, right? The sacrifice that you put yourself through, and you made it. Now, what kind? That's the stuff I love. That's the story right there. Everybody needs to hear that. That's why we have you on the podcast. People need to hear this. This is what our podcast is about, word of mouth. Because people won't believe, but when you put on a podcast, they'll be like, oh, damn, okay. So it's real. Yeah, people, this is real. Anna was working at Jimmy John's for 3 years. 3 years. Her brother did this program. She said, you know what? I'm going to do it. And in a year, not even a year, it's not even a year yet. In less than a year, she got hired at a law firm, downtown Seattle, corner office. And we're going to put that video on the bottom of the show notes. And right next to that, we're going to put the before you at Jimmy John's and the after. And this is what Europe can do for you guys. That's why we have Anna here. she's she's a testimony. Testament.
Living testament.
Living testimony. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Booyaka, booyaka, tsuyaka.
You are a living testimony.
You are living testimony. And that's why I wanted you here. I wanted to get everybody out there that, has opportunities to share wealth through knowledge, information. That's what this podcast is about. We're just sharing information. This information that you're sharing with us through the podcast can help out so many people right now. And there's so many people that have been through Europe that are doing the same thing, word of mouth. We're putting this on this Growing Samoan podcast, people.
On Spotify.
On Spotify. I think Spotify is still one of our sponsors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and if you're 18 through 24,
I'm also an ambassador, so
well,
if you have questions.
You are ambassador? Wakanda forever?
Sure.
No, I'm just joking. She's also an ambassador. She is amazing. And there are people, your sibs, that are also in the program that are doing big things too. Your brother is an alumni. He's like the top person that everybody's following, and he has a big heart. I love him to death. I love my nephew to death. Maybe one of these days I'll get him on this podcast. I know he's a little, different. Everybody, But that's why, I just offer it. Whoever wants to come on a podcast, if they're willing and want to, they can.
Okay.
But if not,
he was an ambassador too.
Yeah, of course he was.
And for ambassadors, they were chosen, so you can trust us.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's go back. There's a lot of information there for all the viewers and listeners. Now, in the beginning, I told a story, we didn't get to it, about Anna. She went to it was like a big convention or event. It was a Polynesian event where her school, Year Up, had a booth. And you were trying to explain, you were just there to explain to kids about the Year Up program. Tell us more about that day. Because I remember you told me something about it. The kids are just normal, like, oh, what is that? They go to the booth. What's that? You try to explain to them. They don't know, right? But how did that go? What was it? What was the function for? And how did it go? Trying to tell the youth.
I really don't remember what the function was for, but it was a Polynesian festival.
Mm-hmm.
And there was so many people that I knew.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a booth there, and there was also like Alaska Airlines there. A lot of educational booths that were there, and we were happy to be one of the tables. And I was with my other Samoan friend from Europe.
Yeah.
There's only me, her, and DJ, and we're the only three in our whole class, which is like, it's gonna grow. But me and her.
You guys were the only 3 Polynesians out of the whole class. Of how many people in the class?
We started off with 80.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so 3 out of 80.
Yeah.
Wow.
And what our main goal was to just recruit. So we were, and we had a lot of cool stuff for people to have that had Europe on it, just like for
little goodie bags and stuff.
Souvenirs.
And it did work. Like, there was a lot of Samoans that saw that we were Samoan, so they came up to us, and there was like, people still in high school, people still in middle school, and they're like, what is Europe? And we're like, it's something for you to think about, if this is something you might want to do instead of college. And some people came and they just wanted the stuff on the table, but that's okay. Like, and then there were some that came and they actually signed up, and now they're in this cohort that is after me. And we were just telling them what Europe is about, and a lot of the other stands that were there, they were like, Balangis or different race.
Yeah.
So the Samoans, we were like
they attracted to you guys.
Yeah, because we were Samoan. We were like.
Well, some of them attracted, and then some of them were like, they ma, some Samoans see the Samoan, they'd be like, oh, they try to, ignore you, and you'd be like, oh, sorry, hey.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Except me and my friend, we're like,
you gotta go pee too?
Hey.
No.
Oh.
Yeah, we're like, hi guys, like, it's okay, you guys can talk to us.
See,
We're
that's
just very open.
so I love. That's why I remember you told me that story, and I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." I said, "Yeah, spread the word," because I already knew after LJ. I was like, "Man, yeah." And then you started it, and you were like, "Yeah, we just did this Polynesian event. We had our booth talking about Europe," and I was like, "That is awesome. Get the word out there. Hopefully the kids will learn something." But I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. Okay, when I'm at a one of those conventions, and I'm that young, I ain't worried about that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this podcast is really something that for parents that can help out, and for the older ones, the 18 to 24-year-olds who are more mature, that they're like they know what it's about. But for you to be out there at the booth and stuff like that, that's gonna grow, like you said, growing Samoan.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be a booth like that. I'm gonna be DJing behind it, playing the cuts, and then
Okay.
we're gonna gravitate all the kids to it, and they're gonna be like, "What's Year Up?" I was like, "This is what Year Up's about." But yeah, that's inspiration right there. That's inspiration right there. I love that.
I would love to share this year up with our culture, and I'm really big about helping people and like their future. Basically, I'm all about furthering your education, closing the opportunity divide. You know what that means?
Closing the opportunity divide, to me, that's like a big financial gap.
Mm-hmm. And
'Cause-
also like
Yeah.
with minorities working in business
Yeah.
companies that we would never be able to step foot in.
And a lot of people, why there's a lot of minorities,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just because that's the history of the American history. It's just the people that were already, started off with wealth. For Polynesians, and other minorities, especially Polynesians. We just talked about that on our last podcast, didn't we? About wealth handed down. Polynesians, Samoans, we started out late. We're barely scratching the surface. That's why you see a lot of Palangi people at the top of corporations, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that they've been here longer. They've established longer. We just came from the islands not too long ago, like the 70s, 60s. That's like, you know, not too long ago. You still have people that's still alive.
Well,
Just came from the islands.
I think a lot of it's like what we used in the islands didn't apply here, or what was used here didn't apply in the islands.
Yeah, that's what I'm
We
saying.
didn't really use credit.
Yeah.
You want a Gabale car, you just go.
Or schooling.
It's totally different.
Yeah, like schooling too, like education, like college degrees and all of that. We're barely scratching the surface of all that. That's why what do you call it again? Occupational divide. Is that what you said?
Opportunity.
Opportunity divide. See, that's what it is. It's not, to me. It's the opportunity divide is really a history thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a divide because minorities are behind. We're behind. Way behind. That's all it is. We didn't have generations before us that started. But that's why we're doing this, because we want to be that generation to start. Because who cares about, where you're at now? Just start, right? Who cares about the generations before us not being able to start? We start now, like you. Your daughter Elsa, she's gonna be one of them snobby kids because you're gonna be spoiling her. She's gonna be getting all the good things, and then there's gonna be a girl her age that's gonna be like on another podcast on about, yeah, this is a classmate Elsa of mine who, yeah, she had everything. She's very privileged. No, but I'm just joking. But that's how it works, But that's true though. Programs like Europe, that's why I love them, because they're actually here to help.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever stressed the fact that I wish we had a program like that when we were 18 to 24, because I was one of those Samoans who just didn't know what to do after college. After high school.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to college, but there was no way in hell my parents could afford it. Mm-hmm. Neither my siblings. Back then, it was either you had two avenues to get out of of the hood, your life,
Oh, the
your
hood.
low income,
Where's-
whatever it is.
Where's the hood at? Where are you from?
Where
you from, homie?
Don't worry. I'm just saying.
No, tell the viewers where you're from.
So I'm from Long Beach, California.
California.
From the LBC.
Mm-hmm.
But I am definitely a Washingtonian native now.
Yeah.
I've been here for over 17 years. But I'm just.
But you've seen a lot. That's my whole point.
I mean, I've seen.
You've seen a lot. You've been through a lot. You've seen a lot.
I've seen a lot of
Struggle.
polys,
Yeah.
definitely male and female, who use sports as a way to get scholarships to ride, to go to Division I schools. That was one way, was basically using sports to get into college.
Did you say you think you remember Troy Polamalu when he was a little kid?
Yes,
Are you sure?
Yeah.
To Troy, if you gonna watch, if you're listening to this, what's up? Let me get an autograph now.
So, I knew Troy years ago, but we were, I don't know, 11, 12? We were young. So Troy's older sister.
Okay, that's enough of that. Let's move on.
Well, we just danced in the same dance group.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But
because Troy Polamalu's getting me jealous right now.
I see.
Fun. But anyways,
because he got that beautiful hair.
you know that hair's insured, honey.
He got that $1 million insured hair.
Aww.
But
Troy
hey, big ups to him.
Big shout out to Troy Polamalu.
He definitely helps out the Samoan community.
Big things out of Samoa. He has his own program out there helping out the Samoan kids, the football camp and all that. Big time organization.
Yeah, but
big shout out to you. So love you.
But that's what I used to see. It was either you played football or you played a sport and you got a scholarship to go to college, or the easy route would be to join the military.
Yeah, military.
That was huge growing up. Like my older brother was a jarhead. He joined the Marine Corps straight out of high school.
Semper Fi. Big ups to older brother. Semper Fi. Semper Fidelis.
But that was also a way to escape to get out of, to make their situations better and to help their families.
So all you listeners right now, these stories of not knowing what to do after high school, joining military, getting a athlete scholarship. There's another way. That's what this episode is all about.
Yeah, that's why I said. I mean, I wish we had a program like this
when we were
growing up. I mean, I think
this is awesome.
What do we have? When we grew up, there was Job Corps.
Yeah,
there was like little
things. I heard of Job Corps,
but nothing to this extent. And believe me, Europe is not for everybody. Yeah. But
it's an avenue.
Into it. Yeah. It is an option. It is an option.
And we went to the history, 2000.
We also get the privilege of seeing it, living proof.
This is living proof.
Watching one nephew, watching a niece and another nephew whose graduation is around the corner. We have another nephew who is actually currently in the program. How many more months do we have for him?
He's actually about to go into internship.
Yeah, so he's almost completing half of so his schooling, the 6 months of the schooling, and then going into internship. And then, of course, like I said, we have, like Henry said, we have another niece who graduated earlier this year in California. So we see it. We see the success that it's given. We
big time success.
Especially because you don't have money. As low to moderate income households. Not enough money, but
not enough money.
It's a good option.
And all of this success and education, it's so beneficial for your mindset as a Samoan child growing up in our households. This stuff right here that you can learn from Europe will not only help you in your education and your mind, but it'll train your mind to think outside of the box. Think outside of the traditional way that the government brainwashes us in high school from K through 12. That's all they do.
Yeah.
People, K through 12, you're getting brainwashed by the government. The government is teaching you one thing, and it's not helping you
I
at
mean,
all.
Student loans are kind of a consumer debt.
Anna, you graduated high school what year?
2015.
2015. And then what job did you get after that?
Jimmy John's.
Jimmy John's. So K through 12 got you to work at
Jimmy John's.
Jimmy John's.
I love my Jimmy John's people, though.
Of course you do.
Mhm.
But then 1 year or 11 months, a year up, got you to work at
A law firm.
a law firm. Where at? At
And-
downtown Seattle.
Mhm.
And I'm
Yeah,
pretty
we'll
sure
be there
that,
for lunch.
and I'm pretty
I'll
sure,
call you. We'll go and dine down in downtown Pioneer Square.
and that I'm pretty sure that check is bigger than your Jimmy John's check, correct? We're not gonna say no numbers, but
yeah, no need,
you
no
know,
need.
so
We already know that Big Brother makes what 6-digit figures a year.
Well,
so
you know, they're blessed,
He's set.
blessings and blessings. There is this whole episode here is just to tell all of our listeners there is another way, and this way is the Bizaham.
And we'll make sure that we leave Anna's information for anybody that has any questions. And
And we're gonna have you on many more podcasts. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is just the first of many.
we want to see how you're doing at
Just-
your law firm in like another few months.
Yeah, we're gonna come visit your office too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
We can always schedule that.
I gotta go put my bougie clothes on
Oh,
before I
yeah.
go.
Right.
Okay.
Make them
No.
get a suit.
Nah, I'm gonna just come in flip flops.
That's fine. I love you just the way you are.
I'm be like, I'm Uncle's Anna. I'm Anna's uncle. I straight $5.
It's
My
okay.
husband's a fob sometimes. and
Yes,
he
I
calls
am.
me a
And I
fob.
And I love all my fobs out there. I love you guys, all of you guys. So,
Well,
you know,
you're going to make sure that you leave all the information in the show notes.
yeah, what we're
for
going to
Europe.
do is we're going to leave a link down in Europe. And we're going to put Anna's information and a couple of before and afters for inspiration. And yeah, if you guys this episode is for you guys, parents, people out there that are looking for education,
It's back
18
to
to
school
24.
time. That's why we're doing this back
That's
to
why.
school special.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
edition.
I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, I know. I'm doing it now.
Thanks, baby.
It's okay.
It's back to school.
Yeah.
And for all you parents out there that are getting ready to get your kids ready for school and all that, let me just tell you something. The schools are brainwashing our children. They're brainwashing you and me. They brainwashed us already. But this podcast, just keep listening to it because we're going to have so much information that is outside of the box, outside from what the school's teaching us.
I'd like for parents to have their kids go and ask a teacher, any grade.
Yeah.
How come we don't teach finances? Why don't we teach credit and all that
Well,
stuff?
no, I'm going to tell you. This is what will happen.
Mhm.
If a student from K through 12 will go to a teacher and tell them, why don't you teach us credit? Why can't you teach us about taxes? Why can't
Real
you?
life.
And you know what the teacher would tell them? Or if the student even tells them, why won't you come over and teach me about stuff? The teacher would tell them is, I'm just sorry, we can't, we won't. Do you know why? It's because those are the government guidelines that they tell the teachers, go by these guidelines or you're fired. That's as simple, that's all it is.
I
It's
just
a
wondered
job.
if anybody's ever escalated it. That's kind of
If
what.
You can't
You go to
even,
the top.
as a teacher, you can't even go to a student's house. It's against the rules. Or you're fired, you know? So what kind of schooling are we teaching through K through 12? You know, it's like,
History.
it's all about the government continuing to make us into employees. So here's a story. Before we end off. This woman, who is financially independent, and her husband and her kids, they teach their children about finances at home. So one day, her daughter came home from school, and the daughter said the teacher was mad at her, and the teacher called the parent, and the teacher said that, well, they had a thing in class where they said, all right, students, we're going to have jobs today. So you get to choose if you want to be a fireman, a policeman, a doctor, whatever there was. So it came up to the little girl, and the little girl said, I want to be a business owner, because her parents taught her about finances. The teacher said, no, sorry, you got to be either a doctor, a lawyer, fireman, police. I want to be a business owner. No, listen to me. You got to be a doctor, so on and so on. So that's my point, is the teacher doesn't know what to do. She can't even say, like, okay, little girl, you want to be a business owner? Guess what? We have a position for you right here. We'll teach you all about how to become a business owner. No, that's how it went. The little girl got scolded. She flunked that whatever thing they went through, and the teacher called the parent. And the parent was like, this is insane that the school systems are brainwashing our children to stay in one little area. No, you can't do this. You can only do this.
Well, guess how much you have to spend to become a lawyer, a doctor.
Yeah.
You have to spend money and get the educational requirements.
Yeah, so the thing that the mom was saying when she was telling her story was, so basically my daughter didn't want to be the doctor, the lawyer, or the police officer. My daughter wanted to be the owner of the hospital that the doctor works at. She wanted to be the owner of the law firm the lawyer worked at. And she wanted to be the owner of the buildings, all the polices. Those are the people that become wealthy. Those are the people that don't have to worry about, a job 9 to 5. Those are the people that don't do the typical traditional, things that the government tries. But anyways, I love the U.S. government, and you guys are the best and everything, but you guys don't care about us. We know that when it comes to education. So that's the whole point of the podcast. Educate yourself, people. Like today, we have a Europe student here.
And it's a stepping stone. Stepping stone to getting a great career. Stepping stone to getting, if your dream is to get into higher education. Yeah. Everybody's different.
It's all, but the thing is, my whole point of it is the schooling. Our traditional school, K through 12, won't teach you about Europe. They'll teach you about just going to college and getting student loans. This is for you guys, your listeners. Europe. It's free. You get paid, and it's only 1 year. So go to europe.org and get all the information you need. And thank you once again, Anna, for joining us. And we're going to have you on many, many more podcasts, and you're going to do like an ASMR thingy. You want to do too? And then once you get into all that, you come back on our podcast, and we'll get you everybody, links up to that and stuff. Yeah. But
do you have any advice for our listeners?
Yeah, last words, advice about Europe, because this episode is about everybody back to school and about you and Europe. So
I guess I want to say, if you're really motivated to change your life, Europe is the way to go, because Europe is not only beneficial for your future, they also teach you about, like, from the littlest things to, like, shaking someone's hand like, in a way where you're confident. Because, like, if you're in a job interview and you shake someone's hand and it's, like, weak, they're going to know, like, that's automatic. Yeah. We don't want you. But, like, I learned that, too. I learned how to shake my hand, like, strongly.
I learned that, too.
Yeah, don't let your palms be sweaty.
No, that's good. No, that's good information. Because when I was younger, and the old men used to grab my hand, and I'd just be like, to me, it's like, okay, this is welcome. Hey, how's it going? I'm like, what's up, good guy? And I'd be like, what's up, dude? You want to go? What's going on here? Why are you sticking my hand hard? I'd just be like, what's up with this dude? You want to fight me? And then I realized that, oh, no, that just means you're strong, firm. Like, hey, how's it going? Boom, yeah. Instead of, hey, how's it going? You can't be no weenie on the block. You gotta be
especially for our women out there.
Oh yeah,
a lot of women are afraid to
shake my hand.
Your uncle wants to get beat up.
You can beat me up all you want. all day, every day.
Well,
Oh yeah. Oh, with that being said,
Anything else, Anna? Go ahead.
yeah, no, go
okay.
ahead. Last words from Anna before we end the podcast.
I just want to say, if you really want to do this, you can do it. Don't let anyone stop you. And if you have your family, you can. It's best to have a support system to support you because it's literally like a full-time job. It's you mentally have to be there in Europe, going through like the whole process of the assignments, and like the first 6 months, it's gonna seem really hard. But once you find your internship, when they give you the company that you're gonna be at, it's like wow, we're gonna actually be in the actual, company building. Like I entered at Smartsheet, and that is like a new company, and like I learned skills that I've never thought I was ever gonna learn. Like I learned customer service, like how to actually speak correctly to customers, how to deal with them. I learned how to like troubleshoot people's issues, and I can like apply that to literally my life. I can apply it to home. When I'm talking to like elders, I know what to say. Like you just learn a lot of things.
Maturity to help you. Yeah.
You just grow. Like I feel like I've grown so much, and
through the program.
Yeah,
they
like
helped you. Yeah.
Before Europe, I was stuck in Kent, and I've never been to Seattle like that. And as soon as I went to Seattle, my first day, I was like, wow, look at all these buildings. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's people like hanging out on the side, and I never been in that life, and like my world is like open now, and I never knew I could be in a business field, or I didn't think that I was allowed to step foot in there.
Yeah.
Because first of all, I'm a woman. Second, I'm a minority. I don't have a college degree, and everyone that I work with has a college degree. At the law firm, everyone there is like 8+ years of masters, and
they got masters.
They're lawyers.
PhDs, some of them got doctorates.
And now I'm working right by them in their office. So, like, I just want to say, like, man, you can do it. And if you need help, I'm so willing to help you, because, man, it's hard. You can't do it by yourself. You need help and support. And
how old are we, Anna?
21 or 22. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
what we're gonna do for our listeners is we're gonna leave a link down at the bottom of the show notes for Anna's information if you want to contact her, if you're thinking about Europe, or if you just want some information because she has experience or support.
Yeah.
And I think you got anything else you want to say?
I just love helping people.
I love it.
So if you need help, I would love to help you and make time for that. So
awesome.
That's awesome. Growing Samoan listeners, thank you for tuning in again. It's getting back to school time. This was a beautiful podcast. Rewind it, share it, spread the word. This is a lot of information that can help benefit you and your family. We love you guys. That's why we're doing this podcast. And once again, if you love this podcast and you want to make this grow so everybody can know and listen and hear about it, just go to iTunes and subscribe, rate, and comment. And also YouTube, if you want to watch the video, you can leave a comment there.
Yeah, feedback, people.
Yeah, feedback.
We need feedback. If you have subjects you guys want to discuss or you want us to do research on so we can talk about it.
Oh, did we read the
feedback?
Did we do the listener comment? The listener?
I don't think so.
Okay, let's do that before we end. We were supposed to do it in the beginning, but I had to go pee. So we're going to do that right now.
You had to go tinkle.
I forgot about
Tinkle,
that.
wink, tinky, winky. So I sent you the message of the one. And Tyler's going to read it before we end off. Thank you, Anna, once again. And the health tip for this week is the same. I'm going to keep it the same. Drink lots of water. I'm going to add it together. Drink water and eat more fruits and vegetables. Just add fruits and vegetables. We'll start with that. Love you guys. And we're going to end off with this comment from our listener, from you, Growing Samoan podcast listener. Go ahead, hon.
So we have one that was commented or left on our YouTube, one of the episodes, and it's from Malila Bourne, and she stated, "Great book to start out. Good job, guys. I look forward to hearing more about your journey.
All right. That was from episode.
I don't know.
That
You
was.
didn't give me an
I
episode.
think that was episode 2, because that was we were talking about the books.
Maybe because I see remember
Yeah.
Teddy Bear Polo?
Yeah. So that was episode 2,
That's it.
and she was pretty much saying, "Yeah, thank you for the comment. We really appreciate every comment that you guys have on iTunes or on YouTube, and that's it. It's a great book." She said that's a great book to start off with. Can't wait to see you guys on your journey, and that's what we're doing right now. Is our journey, and that great book was Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's just, to me, it was just a financial education book. So thank you, YouTube Malila Bourne, for that beautiful comment. And with that being said, thank you, Anna, for coming on the podcast. We're going to have you on many, many more podcasts, and anybody that we can get on. And with that being said, I think we're done.
Okay. Thank you, guys. It was awesome podcast.
Yeah.
Comment, leave feedbacks. Let us know if you guys have subjects you guys want to talk about. Credit, life,
Life.
some,
Space.
we're Samoan.
And
Palabalaves, whatever.
Ooh, Palabalaves. Ooh, we get into that. Ooh.
Well,
Okay.
it's all on the list.
Love you guys. Growing Samoan podcast.
Say bye.
We're going to
Thank
say
you.
bye to the podcast.
Thank you.
Bye to the video.
Bye.
Wave your hand like this. I'm taking Snapchat. Bye. Okay. Bye, guys. Love you guys. Bye. Say bye. Bye.
Bye.
Say bye one more time. Bye.
Henry.
I love you, Uncle.
So far, so far. Bye.
Bye.